everybody. It's Stephen here for the Idiot Quilter, and welcome to my weekly episode. It's episode 161 for April the 5th, 2022. And let me tell you right off the bat, this is going to be a long session today because I have a lot to show you, and I especially have a little video that takes a bit to show you that has to do with the retreat that I just came back from, an in-person retreat sponsored by Ultimate Sewing, which is my local and favorite quilt store in my area. Little rented lips here right off the bat. So let's first of all though start with what I was working at the retreat, or working on at the retreat, whichever way you want to put that. And that is the quilt that's called the Showering Stars. And this is it here. I got the top finished. This is not a really great picture because of the way that I had to sort of hang it up in the hall to take the picture, so it looks like it's a little warped in the long pieces, but it is not. They are straight, and right now it's sitting on Lucy waiting to be quilted. So I'm just giving you a little bit of a close-up of this. When I first saw this pattern by Robin Pickens called Showering Stars, I thought of Christmas. I thought this would make a great Christmas quilt using Christmas fabrics, of course. But I couldn't wait. I wanted to get started on it immediately. I might make a second one when later in the year with Christmas fabrics, as I said, depending on what I come up with for a Christmas quilt this year. But then again, I might find a better pattern or one I like a little better than this. But I do like this one. It turned out very, very nice. I had a few little problems with it, and I don't know if it was because of the way I had cut the pieces. I pre-cut all my pieces before I went to the retreat, so I didn't have to worry about cutting things up. And I had them all labeled and everything like that. And when I started making these long trail pieces that you see here, that connect the stars to the top and the bottom of the quilt, some of them were a little short. It wasn't a big problem because it's kind of scrappy to start with, so I just added pieces where I needed them to be added. So it was probably me rather than the pattern. I probably cut a couple of pieces too short, and that's why this happened to me. However, I have to say, although this pattern was fairly well written, when it came to assembling these stars with the trails on them, there was just a diagram. Now they had the parts labeled, but it would have been very helpful if they put the measurements for each one of the little segments that were included, because, you know, you'd have 3 segments all labeled the same, but one out of 3 of them might be slightly shorter. And it was very difficult in the diagram to determine if, you know, was one really shorter than another. So, you know, if they had put the measurements on those in the diagram, it would have made it a little easier. But that's my only real complaint with this project. So I'm really happy with the way it turned out. Now that is not a solid black background. I don't know if I can get up close enough so you can see it. Yeah, if you look right in here, you see these little streaks. They're not dirt. That is a gray sort of squiggly line that runs through the fabric and gives a little bit of texture in its appearance. I wanted something like that because I didn't want to do just a solid black, and that worked out very nicely. So as I said, right now it's sitting on Lucy. I started quilting it yesterday, and I will show you the finished product probably next week. It's my aim to have it done before the next episode of Idiot Quilter, so you can see the final project in its entirety. So that's what I accomplished at the retreat, and Walter was working on a couple of shirts, and he got a fair ways on those 2 shirts. They're summer shirts, they're short sleeve, one for me and one for Walter. And yeah, he got quite a bit done. And the ladies were coming over to watch him, how he was making it, because he was the only one there doing garment sewing, of course, because Walter doesn't quilt. He just garment sew, as you know. So, did I buy anything new? Well, yes, I did. And I'm just going to find the picture here for you. Now, there were things to be bought at the retreat, but I'm going to show those to you in a minute. But in the meantime, I did get, just before we went to the retreat, an order that I made on a quilt store online, Stitch It Central in London, Ontario. And I ordered the entire line of North KATZ heavy metal. And I just love this line. One, it has gears on it and it looks very steampunky. And I'm really into that kind of design. And two, this is really a pattern line, or not pattern, fabric line that I think would lend itself to a masculine quilt. Now, one of these gear ones in here is a panel, and I'm going to have to go and take a look on Northcott's site to see if they have a pattern for using that panel. And if they do and I like it, I'll get it. If they don't, then I'll just create my own creation from this at some point in time. I haven't even put these away yet in my stash. I need to do that later on today. But I really like the line, and it's called Heavy Metal, and it's by Northcott. Now, I did buy a few things while I was at the retreat, and here they are. So I bought some charm packs, as you can see. I bought a couple of books. These two books were about using fat quarters. They're fat quarter friendly quilts. And if you remember, back some time ago, right after Christmas, I showed you the big box of fat quarters that Walter had bought me, and they're just gorgeous. And so I'm looking for a pattern that I feel is worthy of those fabrics. And because they are already in fat quarters, I'm leaning towards, finding a pattern that uses fat quarters. I did buy a box of Floriani threads because, you can never have too many embroidery threads. And I bought a big pile of fat quarters KATZ because I love KATZ. These aren't new designs, but, they go with so many different things and they're just bright and beautiful and I love them. And then I bought something that I didn't realize, well, I did sort of know, but I had forgotten that this exists. It's a portable design wall. Essentially what it is a vinyl tablecloth with a flannel back. But it's a little heavier than the kind of thing you could buy at the dollar store. Now, ironically, 2 days before we went on the retreat, I went into the dollar store and I bought a vinyl tablecloth with a flannel back because I was going to use it as a design wall. I do not have a wall big enough for a design wall, but I do have a bookcase, and you've seen it in the background in my videos where I keep all my fabric. And I have hooks all along the top edge of the bookshelf where I hang my projects from clips. So this has a bunch of gourmet holes, gourmet. Okay, red lips, holes in the top of it, and so you can hook it up very easily. So I did try it out, and it works like a charm. And I have a little video later on in today's segments. One reason why this segment is pretty long. To show you how it works, but I'm really impressed with it. It wasn't a cheap item. It was about $45 for it, which I think it is overpriced, but it is definitely heavier than just buying one of those cheapo, vinyl tablecloths with the flannel back from the dollar store. So those were some of the things I got. And then there were freebies. We all got a swag bag, and here you can see a bunch of the stuff that we got. Now, to be honest, most of this stuff for me is, well, I don't use it. And it's a lot of the same stuff we got a couple of years ago at the retreat as well. I suspect they're things that don't sell very quickly at the store. But nevertheless, don't look a gift horse in the mouth because they were free, right? And, seam rippers, marking pens, safety pins, safety pins, you can always use. These are good to have, to put on the back of your acrylic rulers to keep them from slipping. There were some clips, and I love my Wonder clips. These aren't actual Wonder clips, but I have had some of these before, and they do just as well. And they're a little cheaper if you were to buy them than Wonder clips, at least in price. These things to me are useless. Maybe some people love them, but basically these two are for holding bobbins to the top of your spool of thread, so you have the same bobbin color with it. I don't bother with that. These ones do the same thing, but they break very easily. And these basically catch your thread on your spool so it doesn't ravel off. Again, I think they're more trouble to put on than not, because usually in the top of a spool of thread you have a notch, or at the bottom in the base you have a little sort of lip that you can sort of pop out open, put the thread in, pop it closed. This little box is for saving your spent needles. This was something that I think they just made up at the store themselves, because I think this had medication in it, and they, instead of throwing it away, they saved them. Good use, recycle. And then there was this fabric, which I haven't actually pulled it off the roll yet to take a look at it. It's novelty fabric. I think this one has sort of got a dog theme to it. So anyways, like I said, it was a freebie. And some more freebies. Donna, the hostess with the mostest, who organized the retreat, she made everybody an embroidered apron. And it's a really nice apron. And I intend to wear it when I'm working on a quilt and things like that, because it'll keep the threads from sticking to my clothes a little bit. And she did all this embroidery herself. It was machine embroidery. She said it was hell. And that's the rule of thumb. When she told me she was going to make these, I said to her, "Oh, you're going to be sick of this real fast," because although this is a relatively simple, straightforward design, it still takes some time. And it never fails, I find, with embroidery, machine embroidery. If you make one of something, it usually works out okay. When you duplicate it and have to make 30 of it, which is in Donna's case, you run into problems all the time. And so it takes a long time. So I really appreciate the effort that Donna put into this, and I really love the apron. Donna also brought a bunch of books and patterns that she no longer wanted from her collection, and we used them as prizes throughout the weekend, and there were a few left over, and I picked these 3 for myself. This one's about making quilted jackets. It's more for ladies' garments, but Walter and I have been talking about doing something like that in a men's kind of thing. And basically I would use my quilting skills to make the jacket, or to make the fabric, and he'd use his skills as a garment sewist and make the jacket or vest. So we'll see. I don't know if we'll ever get to that project, but this book I thought would be a good guide. This one is for making art quilts using your scraps and things. I'm interested in that kind of thing, that collage look sort of thing. So I thought this might be inspirational. And this one just had lots of interesting, basic patterns for blocks and things like that. So I thought, this is always good as a reference guide. One of the ladies at the retreat gave us all of these. She made needle minders. So you stick your sewing needles, your machine needles into this. There's little pages inside of it made from felt. And that's kind of cute, and that was really nice of her. And I found this in Donna's giveaway stash, which is a Border Creek Station applique kit. And I guess you make this little thingy right here, and the pieces are all pre-cut. I didn't open it up yet, but I thought it'd be great for Halloween, and I might do it. I don't dislike applique, but it's one of those things I have to be in the mood to do. So I picked that up as well. So those were the freebies and the things that I bought. So I came home with a nice little stash. So I do have a little video that I've put together of our trip to the place where the retreat was happening. And this is why this video is going to be a little long, because this video section is about 28 minutes long. So if you get bored, fast forward through it. But I thought you might like to see where this place is located and see what the setup was like in the hall. And I do go around in the second half of the video. I go around and I talk to everybody that was there and got a look at what they were working on. And there were some fantastic projects in all of this. So yeah, sit back. You might want to take some hand sewing with you, or whatever you're doing, or clean out your underwear drawer, whatever floats your boat, and take a look at this. And I'll put that in here right now. Okay, so we are on our way to the first physical in-person retreat that we have not been to one since before pre-COVID, so several years, of course. And yeah, we've got mixed feelings about this. We had to kind of pack the car. As you can see, it's packed to the rafters. Virtual retreats are a heck of a lot easier than this kind of thing. And so we're on our way, and we're about an hour and so away from where the site is. We don't know. Today's a very nice day. It's about 13 degrees C. It's very warm. They were talking about this being a rainy day today, but so far so good. We haven't seen any. But we're going north, and although we're not going north all that far, it's hard to say what we will find for winter conditions, because where we live here in southern Ontario, next to the lake kind of warms us up a little bit. And once we get 20 miles north of the lake, things can drop a little bit in temperature. And so it's kind of hard to figure out what you want to pack as far as clothes. Right now, we've got the window down in the car because it is kind of hot. And I'm wearing more of a winterish coat. Maybe should have put on my spring coat, but like I said, but we don't know. And it's still just the end of March, and it can drop at night and get really, really cold. So we will see. So I'll check back in a bit once we get closer to our destination. Okay, so we're getting closer, and you can see we're out in the sticks right at the moment. Actually, this is what the real Ontario looks like. Kind of primitive. But anyways, really no snow, although we're supposed to get snow tomorrow. We shall see. Oh, spoke too soon. Look, snow. Mostly ice, actually. So yeah, we're almost there. We're about 20 minutes out. So we're on the Elam Lodge Road, which is the road that takes us to where we're going. And you can see we're out in the sticks. There is a lake. It actually sits upon a lake. I'm not even sure what that lake is called. Pigeon. Might be Pigeon Lake.
Pigeon, yeah.
Pigeon Lake. So this is an area that has a lot of resorts. I use the word resort sparingly. If you're thinking of a 5-star resort, this is not the case. This is where people come and primarily park their trailers. A lot of them have their trailers up here year-round. There are some sort of more permanent installations where people have built what might be considered cottages onto trailers or whatever. And you'll see some of them shortly. I'll show you what we're talking about. There are a few homes in this area. There's one being built by the looks of things. A little bit more permanent residence as well. But it is in the sticks. And in the winter, I am sure this is a wonderful road to try and travel down. They probably have some kind of service that they pay.
Well, we were here before where it was all icy.
Well, that's true, yeah. And that was bad. At least this time it's not. Now, usually when we go on one of these, well, when we used to go on them, they're earlier in March, the first part of March. This is the end of March. Today's March 31st. So, of course, you'd expect that a lot of the snow would be gone, but it's Canada. You never say anything. You're never sure you're not going to have any snow until about July. And even then, it depends. So this gives you an idea of what I was speaking about a little bit before. You can see these are more permanent trailer kind of installations that people come up here in the summertime and probably spend the whole summer. And way back there over in the trees, but you can't see it right now, for the trees, is the lake. But the lake goes all the way around through this area. And this is where we're headed, and we're almost there. We're about a minute away or so. And we first of all go to unload our stuff in the chapel, because Elam is a Christian Bible camp sort of resort. So yeah, now there's another camp here too, Ashtabula. So as I said, there's a lot of different places down in here. And at least today we're not fighting snow or ice or anything like that to get here. The weather's actually quite nice, although the sky's starting to cloud over a little bit. So you see over here too what I'm saying about all the trailers and that. There's the lake over in the distance. And we are here. And this is the chapel right here. And this is the big hall where we set up for all of our stuff. I'll be taking more video throughout the next few days, so you'll get a feel of the retreat. And now it's time to unload all our crap. Let's see what you've been working on. What do you got? Show us what you got.
Sunflower quilt.
Ooh, that's very pretty. That's lovely. Very nice.
Thank you.
And what have you got underneath your needle?
Well, I've got dancing fairies.
Well, geez, that sounds like my house.
Oh,
Ooh, that's very pretty too. Ooh, I like the fairies in it. Oh, that's cool. Ooh, love it. Very nice. And what are you working
I'm
on?
working on a chandelier quilt.
What's a chandelier quilt?
Well, see, she's got it started here,
Oh,
but I'm doing mine in
oh,
different
geez, I
colors.
hadn't heard of it.
Really?
Yeah.
It's all over online.
Well, I'm gonna have to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, trend. Are you two working together?
No.
Oh,
No.
you're just both making a chandelier.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, ooh,
I don't think we even knew each other was going to do that this weekend.
but definitely a different set of
Colors.
colors. Yeah. So who's that by? Is that a freebie or is that a? Yeah.
The freebie, and you can get it on.
Oh, it's on Missouri Star Quilt.
Yeah, and then there's another lady that makes it.
That quarter shop have it on for free.
Yeah, I
Oh.
think.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right, I'm going to look for that one because I like that. So you're doing yours in more contemporary. You're doing yours. It almost looks like
Fall.
depression.
Depression thing.
Well, yeah, you know. Not saying you're depressed about it, but it looks like 1930s
It's the colors,
fabric.
Yeah.
Well, it's old. It's from my stash.
Okay, you've had that stash for a while. Okay, well, carry on.
This is my stash too.
Oh, is that your stash too?
Yeah, this is all out of my stash.
And you've got some of my color scheme here because I like purples.
I do too. I never used to, but I do now. My colors have
Yeah.
changed.
Yeah, it
I was
happens.
always fall colors.
Yeah, it happens, that's for sure.
More.
Well, thanks for sharing.
More than happy to.
Yeah. Okay, let's go take a look here. So what are you working on? Oh,
I'm doing some stash blocks,
stash
cluster blocks, and they're all different.
Oh yeah. So that's just from your stash. You're just
Yep.
how to get rid of your. That's why you didn't want a bag of scraps. You have your own. Well, this is going to look nice when you get it all together.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, that's nice. And what are you doing?
I am working on Be My Neighbor, which is a quilt-along. That's
A quilt
online.
along.
Yep.
Okay, is that it there?
That's it.
Oh.
That's the first 3 blocks.
I love the house, one with the birdhouse in front of it. Oh, that's really neat.
It's all from scraps.
I'm always attracted to the ones that have little houses in them and things like that. I've done a couple myself too,
Yeah.
but I haven't seen that pattern. I like that. Is this your own pattern?
No, this is Pat Sloan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of
She
her.
has some good patterns.
Yes, she does.
Well, it looks great. It's going to look nice. Okay, ladies, let's chat. Talk to me.
I'm just going away.
You're going away?
She's I'm going to a murder mystery dinner with my granddaughter is in.
Are you the victim?
I think she's the murderer.
Oh, you've already got it figured out
be the
before.
victim and not know it.
Are you coming back?
Yes, I am. It's
Oh,
just,
okay.
I'm just going down the Cobra.
Oh. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you may be the victim. You-
If I figure it out too soon, you never know. It might be for me.
Okay, well, have fun.
Anyway, dear.
Have a lot of fun. And what are you working on?
I'm working on this.
Oh, oh my goodness, that's going to be really
Pons
nice.
and Porter 6-issue pattern. You know how they do.
Yep.
You can have a little bit now, a little bit. Where did you teach, by the way?
I taught at, well, many places.
Oh, Guelph?
Yeah, like Whitby, 2 schools in Whitby,
Oh, wow.
Henry Street, and then Donald A. Wilson, then in Pickering at Pine Ridge.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was seconded for 3 years to do virtual. So I taught from my
really?
home, yeah, in that one. Yeah, so, yeah, I couldn't keep a job. They just kept moving me. No.
Kept moving you around, trying to find a place that suited you.
Yeah.
I get
so,
that.
is this one of your blocks?
Yeah, that's one of the blocks, and this is the next one that goes on it.
Well, that's going to
Not sure if
really
it goes on
nice.
like that, but one there and one there.
I like your colors.
Do you?
Yeah, I
Okay,
do.
Yeah, they're
I
a
do
bit
like your
bright, but I
colours.
think they're going to be okay.
We see, I'm into bright.
Are
bright,
you?
bold, and wild.
Yeah, I'm gonna come over and see what's
that's
going
why
on
I like
over
in my
there.
fabric too. Well, thanks for sharing. And what do we got going on over here?
I'm making a tuffet.
A tuffet. Oh, what are those ones that Cleo does?
Cleo does.
Yeah.
I just had a class with her.
Yeah, I saw that
A week ago or
listed.
whatever.
Are they hard?
No, these are pretty good.
Because I did a medallion tablecloth with her. That was all.
Oh, I know the one.
Yeah, that one. Well, it turned out because Cleo's a really great instructor
Oh, isn't
with
she?
it. But I had a few moments touch and go, And what have you got on your table?
I am working on the block of the month that Donna's hosting.
Oh yeah, I mean that
That
class too.
you finished like in a few days.
Yeah. Oh, your colors are nice.
Yeah,
I love
so
those.
I'm nearly there.
Yeah, that's gonna be nice. So, did you have any? You got the center perfect. You don't need to use the little
I
circle.
don't need to do the circle.
I don't like the circle.
Did you end up doing the circle or
Nope.
no?
Nope. I'm proud to say that my points all came out perfect
Yeah,
too
yeah.
with it. So
You
no,
were
I'm not
close to
covering
the
that
two,
up.
so, yeah.
I want to point it out to people. See, my center's
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, I figure if you put the circle on it, people are going to say,
That's exactly what Jan said.
Yeah. So that's but then again, maybe that's okay if you have to hide. What are you doing? Speaking of hiding,
Oh. That is mine, but it's sideways.
no, that's not going to work.
Where did I put it?
Oh,
I've got
nice.
the pattern.
Nice fall-like colors.
I'm using it scraps.
Oh, is that all you're doing?
Yep.
Using up straps?
That's what it looks like.
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah.
Not your mother's rail fence. Okay. That's good.
Wouldn't have been my first choice, but
But that's going to look really nice though when you get it done.
This is the color that really stands out.
Yeah, I was looking at that one. I like that.
That's
I really
Timeless Treasures.
Yeah.
That is, and that is. And this is a burlap. Gold burlap. And-
Yeah, but those are nice fabrics. I like those.
Yeah.
Did you get them at Ultimate?
Florida.
Oh,
I got that from the States. And I think I might have gotten them from either Lindsay or Cookstown.
well, you're just a fabric slut, aren't you?
Well, I'm working on it.
Well, it's going to look really nice.
Yeah, I'm going to do some more rows, and then I'm going to start sewing the rows together, and then I'm going to switch it. You'll see it, and it starts to come together.
Well, it's coming together now. I can see it too. Well, it's really nice. Okay. And what are you, Matt? Are you doing foundation paper piecing?
Yes, this is string piecing on telephone book paper.
Now, where did you get a telephone book?
I've been saving them for a few years.
Yeah?
I've got one
Oh, yeah.
recently, so I
Oh,
just
okay.
save it and cut the squares. And
So you live in a primitive society.
yes.
Well, it's great. Are you using up scraps for
yeah,
this?
yeah, I have a whole bunch of.
Well, I can give you more.
I know. This is, yeah, you do actually.
Well, when I give away things, I only give the best, even if it's scraps. Well, that's going to look really nice when you get it done. I love those kind of quilts anyways, the scrappy ones. I make a lot of those. And what do you got?
Oh, it's an endless. It's gonna be. This is the block, and you can like switch it around,
Yeah.
like depending on which way you place it within.
That's I've never seen a block like that. That's really kind of unusual.
It is unusual, but there's like 4 flying geese, and
So when you put it
so
together,
I'm doing a million flying geese right now.
oh, aren't they fun? Are you using the ultimate flying geese ruler? Oh, you should get that.
Is that the
It's a square one, but it has all the lines, and
yeah,
you just.
I have that, but I actually cut these with AccuQuilt,
Oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't got mine
so I don't
yet.
have to trim.
Yeah,
later.
yeah. Well, that's why I
It's
got it
kinda
too. I
nice.
want that, but I really like that ultimate flying geese ruler
No, I did use that last year when I made some.
because that one. Sharon introduced me to that one.
That's what's her name? Deb Tucker one?
Yeah. Is it a Deb? I don't know if it is a Deb Tucker. She does have one, but
She does have a
but-
blanket, and it's a very good one.
Yeah.
I used it.
I mean, I've got a bunch of them, different ones I've tried too. So, yeah. I'm a flying.
And now I'm getting AccuQuilt. So.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, me too.
Why not?
So that's what I'm picking mine up next week.
Oh yeah, where?
Yep. At Kawartha Quilting. Yeah.
I got some from them.
Yeah. So one of the dyes I ordered, apparently it was out of stock, which I didn't know, but she claimed that they had put that on the website, but they have it on reorder. So, but it's just a 3-inch square, so I'm not worried about that. I was more concerned about getting the cube, the 8-inch
The
cube.
8-inch cube.
Yep,
Yeah,
and
I
that,
got that.
and then I think with the cutter, I got the Go Big one. Yeah, they had it on for a fantastic price. Yeah, yeah, well, that's what I figured. I've used die cutting machines
The
in my
other one's
paper.
not bad. Like it's not
Yeah,
hard to.
but if you can get somebody else to do it for you, then why not?
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, that's going to look gorgeous.
I hope so.
Yeah. Be done this weekend? No, don't think so.
Well, I hope so, because I already
Oh.
have another project that I cut out, a cross canoes project.
Oh, okay. Well, you're ambitious.
Well,
Yep.
I
Well,
may get sick of this.
yeah, well, that's
Like
what
I'm
I thought when I brought stuff
too
too.
many
I brought 4
things.
projects in case I got sick of one. So, and then I left half of one at home, hanging on the wall, and I couldn't get. I was going to get a real good start on that one, like through it, and it's all on my wall at home, half of it. And I went, ah. But you know, such is life, right?
Still be there when you get
Oh yeah, it will be. Yeah. And what are we doing?
Not much.
Not much. Well, you got an awful lot of stuff here. This is nice fabric. Is this Tim Holtz?
Yes. Yes.
Yep, that's what I thought.
It's over there.
That's part of it.
Oh, okay. I got that over the far side. Yeah, right there. Oh, yeah. That's abandoned, isn't it? Tim Holtz abandoned?
I think that's what it's called.
I think so, because I had a bunch of that, and I did something with it at one point, too. But see, that's a crossover for me, because Tim Holtz, I have met Tim Holtz. And when I was into paper crafting, I don't know if you know Class Act. That's in Oshawa. It's a scrapbook store. And Carol, the owner of it, she's a friend of mine, but I used to work for her. When I retired, I was scrapbooking in those days and paper crafting. So I worked for her for a while just to see what it was like. I got over that. Not because of Carol, just because, well, you know, you have to deal with bitchy people. You know, well, Donna, you know, it happens to you all the time. Yeah. And she took me down to a place where it's her supplier in Michigan. And it was a special thing. She said we were there for an all-day workshop. Like we went down, we were there 2 days, and learned all this stuff. And so she took me to go represent the store and kind of stuff. Get down there, I'm blabbing away, I'm looking all over, excited about seeing all this stuff. And this guy saddles up beside me, right? And I see him on my peripheral vision, and I'm still talking away, and I look over and I go, oh my God, you're Tim Holtz. And I'm a fanboy. And he goes, hi, Steve. How are you? I says, oh my God, Tim Holtz knows my name. I'm wetting my pants. Yeah, I mean, to me, he was a god at that point in time. She had set it up. She didn't tell me that the whole workshop was a Tim Holtz workshop. And a whole day with Tim Holtz and other people, but it was fantastic. He autographed my apron, my work apron. I still have it. It's dirty as hell, but I still have it. And he is exact. If you've ever seen him in his videos or anything like that, he is exactly the same in person, in real life. The nicest man you can meet. So I was just all over. So I still like Tim Holtz. Now it's fabric. So carry on, dear. And that is sacred fabric. Do not blow it.
I never heard of the guy.
Oh!
Sorry.
Oh, my heart.
Tula? Oh, yeah.
Tula, she's just a pink.
No.
I said pink. Tula's stuff doesn't grab me as much. There's too much pink in it. I'm not a pink fan. I'm not.
I love that fabric.
Which, that's the Tim Holtz, yeah, the abandoned. It's great.
Never heard of him,
Oh,
Really?
but no, I know.
go on YouTube, look up Tim Holtz, watch some of his videos. Mostly it's crafting. He doesn't talk so much about his fabric line, because that's a relatively new thing for him. But he is such an imaginative person, and he loves grunge and distress.
Yes.
That's what his trademark is.
And I love Tula Pink's videos.
I've never really watched hers.
You should.
Oh, maybe I
She's
will.
fun, and she's
Well, maybe you'll
just
convert
down
me
to
to
earth.
Tula Pink.
Just down to earth.
I like some of her stuff. I think it's really, like, it's just not my style.
Well, yeah.
It's a bit cutesy.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't do cutesy.
I know.
Oh, so there you go. And what are you doing? You're making a bag.
Not much. Not much, Stephen.
Well, what's that in front of you? That's a bag, right?
This? Yeah, it is. What did I create all weekend? A project bag.
I'm going to be the same.
Well, they take a while to do, and you're using. Do you find that difficult to work with, the vinyl?
The vinyl actually, no, it's not bad.
No? Do you have a
No.
Teflon foot for your sewing machine?
Yes.
Put it, and that works.
That's better, but
Yeah.
the Teflon foot is good. Vinyl, leather, cork, all that.
Stuff. Yeah, I've thought
Yeah,
about getting
it's
one,
good.
but I haven't made a bag in a while. But I will. I will. And is that what you're working on too?
I am.
And you've got it all there. Ooh, okay. Oh, is this? Is this your bag or is this your bag?
This is
That's Shirley's bag.
That is beautiful. That is
Isn't that
beautiful.
great? We did those years ago. We did those bags.
Yes,
I really like that.
I finished yours for you.
Yes, you did.
Is it a bag by Annie? Or Annie bags, or what do they call those?
No.
Who is it?
Yes. I don't know.
Oh, well,
It's I got the pattern from a young woman who was in a workshop with me, and she made it up.
No, it was Tammy. It was Tammy from Quilter's Cupboard.
She worked there, and she said she designed the bag.
Yes, and she did. It was her pattern.
Yeah.
And remember, but it was an awful pattern. You couldn't,
yeah, it was
the
terrible.
colors that she used didn't show the directions well.
But she
I
gave
shouldn't-
me the pattern. She was very nice.
Yeah, I mean, she is. She's very nice. She still works at Quilter's Cupboard. But that was years ago. Since there have been modifications, if you go on Pinterest, there's all kinds of different ones. 3-pocket ones.
Yeah,
You can
this one
do,
has
yeah.
5 or something.
and does it have like a frame in it? Oh, no, it's just...
No,
No,
it's
oh,
just
okay.
like
It has a
fusible.
base. It has a
And
cardboard.
underneath you can put rulers in the bottom.
Oh, ooh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, that's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
Shelley, who started just new at the store, new
Yeah.
instructor, she's doing one.
Oh, is
It's
she?
called Grab and Go. I think the first class was just last week, but she has a pattern and it's in the store.
Oh, okay. When I'm in the store next time, I'm going to look for that. Remind me, Donna.
Okay.
And what do you... Well, you're doing it too?
I'm doing it too.
And I like your colors. This is so nice. Like,
Yeah, Shirley made that. This, I was telling somebody
gorgeous.
the other day, this is when I first recognized KATZ as KATZ.
yes.
And I bought these fat quarters of his, and I didn't have a clue what to do with them.
But they're
Because
pretty.
They are beautiful. So I just made a cover for my sewing machine.
That's good too. I like to get nice pretty fabrics, lay them all out on the floor, get naked and roll in them, but enough about my Saturday night.
Too much information.
Do you think? I don't know.
Do you think?
And then over here, Walter and I are not the only two men here this weekend. We have Ted. And Ted,
Here
what
we
you
go.
working on now?
Well, I am doing some random stuff. I'm making a quilt that's like, I don't know if you know the artist Piet Mondrian, who used to do,
Not intimately.
okay, white paintings with thin black lines and
Oh,
a
yeah,
splash
okay.
of color.
I know
type
what you're
of
talking about now.
thing. So that's what I'm trying. These are a couple of squares. And then some of them will have, when I get them done, we'll have a tiny splash of color.
Oh,
Yes, that
yeah.
is from your fabric bag.
Oh, it's from the scrap bag I gave people.
It is, yeah. So different ones like that, and splash of color here, there, mostly white and trying to keep.
So
I
are you?
want patches, but I want white patches.
So would you consider yourself what they call a modern quilter?
I guess I am.
Yeah, I would say so from the design. It's very
don't-
graphic.
Yeah, I have a hard time with the measuring out little pieces and trying to join them.
Oh, yeah.
And like I was just explaining to Heather, when I do woodwork, I'm not the guy that does measure twice and cut once. I'm the other guy.
I can relate to that.
Measure once and just cut as many times as I have to.
Yeah, and hope the hell it works.
Yeah, and this lends itself to that, because if I look at something and go, oh, no, just cut it again, I just cut off another piece. So it's all just random,
It's just fabric.
yeah. And I wait
is
and I
valid.
see what the final result's gonna be, and I go, yeah, I like that square.
I think this is going to look really great when you're done. Very modern. Very
It's
modern.
got a splash of red going in on it, that's
Yep.
coming up, well, there it is there. So that'll go in somehow
Somewhere.
against another color. And I haven't decided what the center strips will be, horizontals or verticals yet.
So basically, it's improv.
It's totally
Yeah.
improv. That's
I like
what do.
improv. I do improv too. I like
Yeah.
doing that. I just like going with the flow.
Exactly.
Sometimes it works out okay. Sometimes, well, but whatever. It's just fabric.
Yeah.
And then you just cut it up and rearrange it.
Exactly, yeah. If it doesn't go with like this, that's fine. I'll just end up using it as patches on one of my crazy quilts.
Yep.
Or or scrappy quilt, I guess.
Well, it's going to look great when it's done.
Well, thank
so,
you.
yeah, carry on.
Thank you.
I won't interrupt you anymore. And what you're making the stars, and I'm a real sucker for the stars. Let me get this part in. Penguin.
There's supposed to be a whole bunch of penguins. I think 6 alone.
Oh, that's going to be cute.
And they're all different.
Oh, that's really a neat quilt. Oh, geez, I thought it was really neat just looking at the stars, but now with the penguins on it. So all applique, and I'm assuming it is raw edge applique.
Yes.
And do you like applique?
It's my first time doing it.
Oh, yeah? So how are you finding it? I have to be in the mood.
Yeah. Anyways, time trying, so.
Well, you're doing a great job.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, really great job on that. I don't think I could do that that well. So, okay, so that's a neat, and what's that one called? Penguin whiteout? Or winter out?
Winter quilt.
Oh, okay. It's nice. It would make, and I like, we've got snowmen on your fabric. So, not focusing well.
Yeah, they're
there,
big.
okay.
It's a big variety of materials.
Of whatever. Well, it's going to look really nice.
Thank you.
When you get done. It's gorgeous. Okay, I'm going to have to look for that pattern. And of course, last but not least is Walter. Walter is the only one not making a quilt, of course. He's doing garments. So, what are you making, Walter?
Shirts.
Shirts for me?
Shirts.
I said shirts for me?
Yeah, maybe.
Oh, liar, liar.
My pocket.
Oh, yes, you can't see it. So he matched the pocket. So look, close up on the pocket. See that? It's Walter's secret hidden pocket.
Yeah, my other second pockets.
I'm just trying to get my... All right, show me now.
Old man operator.
Well, bite you.
What?
Okay, so where's the pocket?
Here.
Well, I can't see it. It's invisible. It's so well matched.
Now I can't find it.
Yeah, see there. Oh, there it is. All right. Ooh, very nice. I like it. I like that fabric too.
Yeah.
It would look really good on me.
Yeah, I know.
Excellent on me, really. Okay, so that gives you an idea of what we've all been up to and what we're working on today. And there'll be more later. We're only one day into this retreat. So I hope that video gave you a bit of a feel for the 3 days that we were on the retreat. It was actually 3.5 days, 3 nights, 3.5 days, kind of a thing. Now, this week coming up on So Chatty, we're going to talk a little bit more about the retreat, and we're going to compare it to virtual retreats that we've been on. And spoiler alert, I don't think we're going to go on another in-person retreat. And you'll find out why come this week's version of So Chatty. So stay tuned for that. All right, so that takes me to the demo of the week, and I want to show you how this Fons & Porter design wall works. And you can see it right behind me. I'm using it right now. It's hanging on my bookcase. It fits perfectly in that space. I was thrilled when I took it out of the package. And so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to show that to you right now. Okay, so I was at a retreat on the weekend, and I picked up several things. And one of the things that I picked up was this by Fons & Porter. It is a design wall. Now, ironically, just a few days before I went to the retreat, I picked up a vinyl tablecloth from the dollar store that has a flannel back, because a lot of people use that as a design wall, a portable design wall. And this works on the same principle, I gather, but it's a little bit more substantial. So I'm going to unbox it and hang it up behind me, because there supposedly are eyelets in this, so you can hang it up, and we'll see how it works. So as I said, this is by Fons & Porter, and it says, flannel allows you to arrange patchwork, quilt blocks, and quilt sections on the design wall without pinning. 2-inch grid lines are easy to see. 60 by 72 size is excellent for travel, class, or home. Diagonal lines for aligning blocks set on point. Instructions. When hanging the design wall, choose a wall surface that is free from any protruding elements such as windows, doors, molding, nails, etc. Patchwork elements and fabric pieces adhere best when the design wall lays against a flat, smooth wall surface. Okay, I'm going to mount it here. on the bookcase. So that's not a smooth, flat surface. So let's see how this will work. Mount adhesive hooks, Mount adhesive hooks not included in package on wall surface according to package instructions. Use a level or straight edge to install hooks in a straight horizontal line. Well, I have a series of hooks, which you can't really see right above me, that are all attached. They're command hooks to the top edge of this bookshelf. So I'm hoping those will work. With the gridded vinyl side against wall and flannel side facing outward, hang design wall by placing gormets on hooks. Arrange patchwork quilt blocks and quilt sections on the design wall without pinning. Note, for hanging, we recommend adhesive hooks that can be found at most local hardware stores. Okay, so those are my instructions. And if you're interested, this cost me $44.40. So let's get it open and see what happens. Okay, so this is the vinyl grid, as you can see. And I see where they've got the gormet hooks. My initial impression is this is a little thicker than the cheap one I bought at the dollar store. This is the flannel side, so it should be out. So let's see what I can do with the hooks that I have. Now, I don't have a hook over on this side. I may have to install one there, but we'll leave that for now. Okay, well, so far I definitely see the potential. Let's just get this. I'll have to move it up a little bit more and put another hook up here, but that's okay. So there, that went up pretty fast, pretty easy. Let's see what we can do. All right, so I have a bunch of blocks here somewhere. Yeah, right here. These are actually blocks that were made by the people during the scrap block challenge at the retreat, which I'll talk more about on So Chatty this week. But okay, let's see how this works. Yeah. Well, so far so good. All right. This is working fine. These are staying on here. All right. So there we have it. Blocks are hanging on this very well. Yeah. I think this is going to work. I think it works better than the dollar store one. This flannel is a little bit fluffier and seems to have a good adhesion to it. Like I said, I'll need to put a couple of hooks in, extra ones up here, no problem, just to bring it over. But I think this is going to work really well. So yeah, so that's the Fons and Porter design wall. So yeah, I think it's a little overpriced, but you know, it's better than the dollar store one. So okay, so that's my demo for this week of the Fons and Porter design wall. I'm impressed. It works. So yeah, I'm impressed with it so far. Okay, so that takes me to the subscribers quilt of the week, which is not a quilt, but it is a tote bag, a series of tote bags made by one of my regular viewers and friend, Jeannie Eubanks. And so here's Jeannie's lovely creations. I'm having a real problem with my mouth today. This week's subscribers' quilts that have been submitted are not actually quilts, but are tote bags. And these were submitted by Jean Eubanks, who's a regular here on the Idiot Quilter. And we've seen many of Jean's lovely creations before, but these are something a little different. Usually we see her quilts. This time we see her tote bags, and they are really quite lovely. She says, here are the 4 tote bags that I made for Christmas gifts last year. I used orphan blocks and leather handles. So these are really great. They're definitely quilted, as you can see, and we'll just take a closer look at the quilting. And it looks like she may have done some ruler work on these, and I really like the idea of the leather handles. I have never made a tote with leather handles, so I may have to investigate that further. But I think these are very colorful, very nice, and a great way to use up your orphan blocks. I need to try that because I do have quite a few orphan blocks laying around. I was going to make them into a quilt, but actually I like the idea of the tote bag even better. So thanks, Jean, for sending us pictures of your very beautiful tote bags. And I am sure the people who received those at Christmas time really appreciated them. And that takes us to the YouTube channel of the week, which is actually not a channel, but it is one video clip from this channel. You know the channel, you know it well. I've interviewed Kate from the last homely house. Been very, very popular. I can't believe it, over 23,000 views so far in about 3 weeks on that video. So people love Kate, and they should. But I digress. She did a video of indigo dyeing, and I'm really interested in fabric dyeing. It looks very messy, but the end result looks sensational. So I thought I'd talk a little bit about this video clip. This week, the YouTube channel of the week is again a segment from a YouTube channel that I think many of you are very familiar with, and it's The Last Homely House. And recently I had interviewed Kate Jackson, the creator of this YouTube channel, on my channel as well. Well, Kate looks like she's branched out a little bit more on her YouTubes, and she's doing things that are a little bit more about techniques or demos on how to do things. And this one really caught my eye because I've been playing with the idea of trying to dye my own fabric, myself. So this I found really useful, and she was doing indigo dyeing, and it's fascinating how she creates the fabrics that she does, the different techniques. Now it does look like a really messy process, and she does talk about that. It best to be done outside by the looks of things, but the end results are fascinating, and this really piqued my interest in dyeing fabric, which maybe I would try that in warmer weather when I can do it outside, because as I've already mentioned, it looks like it's very, very messy. But if you want to take a look at how one person does this, then I would definitely check out this video segment. Now, Kate also had, she made up a bunch of fat quarter, or I think they were charm pack bundles of her indigo dyed fabric, but those were sold out almost as soon as she put them up in her shop. I know because I went as soon as I saw this video to try and get some, and they were gone. So I hope she's making more in the future. But a very interesting process, very informative, so you may want to check it out. And that takes me to what's on my vision board. And this week it's a pattern by Moda called Pyramids, and this is a free pattern. This week on my vision board, as far as patterns are concerned, is this one by Moda called Pyramids. And this was a free pattern that you can download, and I'll give you the link for that in the show notes. But I was looking for patterns that would be fat quarter friendly, because I have that big box of fat quarters that Walter gave me at Christmas time that are really beautiful, and I want to use them in something that I consider pattern worthy. So this one I found, and I think it's kind of interesting, and it looks like it's fairly easy to construct as well. So if we look down through the pattern, and as I said, this is a free pattern from Moda, and it's called Pyramids. It says that the finished size of the quilt is 67 by 72 inches finished. So that's a good size. Add a few borders to it, and I think you can make it a little larger if you need it to. Now, it looks like they're using a special ruler, and I believe I do have this ruler in my collection. It's the 60-degree ruler. So yes, in fact, I know I do have that ruler. So cutting it out using that ruler looks fairly simple, and as we look at the construction, no Y seams, which is a good thing as well. So I think this will look very pretty in those fabrics that Walter gave me. And so that's one that I want to work on, well, sometime very soon. So it's called Pyramids, and it's by Moda, and the link for it will be in the show notes below. And now to critique one of my past creations, and this one gave me a lot of problems, and I have made a second one, and the second one came out a little better than the first one, and this is called Triangle Frenzy Swirl Table Runner. Try to say that fast 5 times. This week's creation of my own that I'm going to critique is one I made quite some time ago, and it's called the Triangle Frenzy Swirl, and it is a table runner. This is a really short little table runner, more of a table topper, but you could make it longer. And I needed a very special ruler for this, the 60-degree equilateral triangle ruler. And this was very popular when it first came out. Everybody was making these, and it is a really cool design, but I made some very beginner mistakes on this, let's say. First of all, my selection of fabric, although pretty, there's too much of a print in it, and it really doesn't match up, which kind of bothers me. So if I was to make this again, I would definitely use something that wasn't a heavy print like that, something that was a smaller repeated pattern, like in the other fabric that's in the borders of this piece. Also, I had a little trouble sewing the pieces together. I wasn't getting things matched up correctly, and I sort of stretched the fabric, and you can see it's warping where I put the binding on. Now, I think this was the first time I'd ever put binding around angles before, as opposed to, you know, just doing straight binding on top and the sides of a quilt. So that's where I had the difficulty there. It's okay, but it doesn't lay flat. You can see the quilting I did was a free motion style with a walking foot on that, which turned out not too bad, but you can definitely see it was when I was first starting to experiment with that. I've never made another one of these. I should probably go back and attempt, though, to make something like this, because it is a really neat pattern. And just be careful with the fabrics that you pick. You want to pick something, as I said, that has a small pattern to it, where you don't have to match up pieces, because basically that's almost impossible to do so. And make sure you have high contrast between the two fabrics that you pick as well, so that you really get the illusion of this interwinding around itself. So that's the Triangle Frenzy Swirl. Oh yes, and just as a side note, I did try to make another one after that, and I used this fabric, and it worked out a little better, but again, I think I could have made a better fabric choice, although this is pretty. And I did do a little better job of the binding around the angles. Again, though, I think I could do an even better job of it if I tried. And actually, I just realized something. In this picture, I haven't bound it. So maybe, is this an unfinished work that I don't know where I've put it? Or maybe I threw it out. Interesting. I have to look for that. And so that takes me to the Idiot Quilter Presents, and this week I still do not have another interview, although I do have an interview lined up. I'm going to be interviewing somebody on Good Friday, so next week, and I'll have it up not for next week's Idiot Quilter, but the week after that, I hope, if all goes well. In the meantime, you have to listen to me ramble on, and this week I have decided that I have become a grumpy old man, and that's what I talk about and why I say that. So if you're interested, you can tune into that, and there is a link for it in the show notes below. And that takes us now to my last segment, and you're probably going, thank God, about an online quilting store, and this one is called Purple KATZ Quilting. This week's online quilt store is called Purple KATZ Quilting, and they're located in Rimbey, Alberta. And well, here's their opening page. At first, I didn't think the whole page opened up because there was a lot of white space here, but I guess that's just the way it's designed. But no bother. Let's see, unique quilt boutique shopping. So it's a quilt boutique shopping kind of store, which gives it an interesting flavor. We are a modern quilt shop offering you a unique boutique shopping experience. We offer you private shopping by appointment with one-on-one assistance as you choose your next quilting and sewing project. Well, that's interesting. I wonder if that's because of COVID or not. There's a limited number of appointments available each week. Mask will be required. So I guess you can go into the store or you can shop online. So let's see. What did they have to offer? Well, over here on the left-hand side, they have a Happy Spring event. Let's just check that out and see what that might be. Great selection of quality fabrics at a great price. Limited availability. Prices and yardage varied. Okay, so it's basically a sale on fabrics. And here's all the different fabrics that they have on this. Oh, good. They do show you when something is sold out. I like that. And they've got quite a few pages of that. So I'm wondering if this includes all of their fabrics or not. On the left-hand side in the directory, they have Tulip Pink Butterfly 2.0 Sew Along. Oh, they have a Sew Along. Let's just check that out and see what that involves. So, Tulip Pink PKQ Sew Along sign up for our kit customers. Okay, so I guess they must have people who join sort of a club. I do like that quilt though. The paper pattern is $37.50, and then if you want to do the whole thing with a full kit, you can pre-order it, $220. Okay. And they look like they have other ones like that as well. Doesn't tell us much about it though. Well, maybe if I click on it, I'll get a little bit more information. Okay, so tells you what you need to buy if you get the kit. And I'm just skim reading this, and it just tells you about it. So I don't know why they're calling it a sew along, or are they? Yeah, they do call it a sew along, but I'm not really sure how that works. Okay, so if you're interested, I guess you have to email them for more details about this. All right, well, let's get down to yeah, they have a lot of things on the left-hand side. Here's what I'm looking for, shop. So let's open that up. And it looks like they list their fabrics by designer or manufacturer. They have Juicy Juice. That's one of Walter's favorite fabric lines. Maybe it's just me, but I'm finding this a little confusing. Let's check out Robert Kaufman fabrics. Kona Sheen, Robert Kaufman. Okay, let's just click on something here because that I find that menu system a little bit confusing, but it might just be me. Okay, so from $12, is that $12 a meter or is that a half meter? I suspect that's a half meter. Well, let's click on one and find out. Shipping is calculated at checkout. 20-inch width of half meter. That's an interesting way of putting this information. Width of half meter, 20 inches, 1 meter, 40 inches, 2150. Okay, I find this kind of confusing. So it's saying 1 meter, 40 inches. So it's 40 inches wide and it's a meter. Okay, that's a little under. Okay, why are we saying 1 meter, 40 inches? Oh, wait. Okay. A meter's actually 39 inches, but they're saying it's 40. I find that very confusing. I'm just going to call it 1 meter, and so it's 21.50 a meter. Okay, in the middle of the ballpark as far as price is concerned. Right now, I'm not having a good feeling about this. I'm really not, and it's based totally on the way this is organized and things like 1 meter 40 inches, because that's not accurate. Now here you go. They've got description: 15 yards, 100% cotton, 44 inches, 4.3 ounces. Okay, how does that match up with this? It doesn't. I'm confused. I am confused. All right, well, let's look on here. Let's take a look at what they say you might also like. Okay, that's the same stuff. Let's just check out Juicy Juice, only because this is one you don't find often on many websites. Check this one called Fabric from the Attic. It's a collection. Okay, you can pre-order it. 30 pieces, $180. A fan bundles. Size in drop-down menu. Okay. $30 fat quarters, or 30 half meter. So 30 fat quarters are $180. And it's $330 if you want 30 half meters. Okay, you'd have to do the math to figure out if that's a good price or not. But it is a nice selection, because I do like Juicy Juice too. So does Walter. But yeah, I'm still not comfortable ordering from them because I'm not getting the information. Okay, let's see. All these sew-alongs. They have a block of the month. Let's go back to the shopping. Did they have pre-cuts? Okay, they have wide back, but I'm not seeing anything that says pre-cuts. But they do have pre-cuts in the Juicy Juice, so maybe they list pre-cuts within. Okay, I'm totally confused how this works, but let's just click on something and see what we get here. Abandoned 2. Okay, so this is where this is how they're listing pre-cuts or bundles. They're within a certain category. Okay, so yeah, that's not very conducive to the way I shop. Again, I find it a little confusing. I'm finding it difficult to navigate around this site. This big long left column too is very disconcerting. Remember, I base my judgment, because I've never been to these stores or ordered from them, on my first impressions of the website. So I'm sorry if I'm sounding very critical here right now, but I want to be able to get in, find what I want, and get out. And this is not allowing me to do that. Well, they've got notions and things as well. I'm not going to pursue those because they're probably the same as anywhere else. Let's check their shipping policies, because that's a factor that I always check out, that makes helps me make my decision whether to order from a company or not. Due to COVID restrictions, all sales are final at this time. What does COVID have to do with final sales? That doesn't make any sense to me either. That's the return policy. Now, I get it. Returning fabric that you've ordered, how many people do that? Well, maybe some do, but you know, they cut it. So basically I can see saying, you know, they don't accept returns on that. Be careful when you order. Purple KATZ Quilting reserves the right to increase charges if shipping and fabric costs increase. Well, oh, okay, I can see that. So 3 to 4 business days, Canada Post, flat rate shipping charge of $12.50, which is expedited shipping with a tracking number is provided. Okay, well that's good. Expedited, and you get a tracking number for that price. If you order over $149 worth, you get free shipping. So that's okay too. And then they have other details if you want to change who ships it out. Their return policies. Oh, they have a restocking fee of 20%. And their cancellation policy. Okay, well, shipping doesn't seem to be unreasonable with it. So, yeah, I'm really not interested. I'm not seeing anything that's grabbing me. I'm a little confused at how things are set up here. I don't want to spend all day looking through a site with it. I want to have a clear menu system. And this doesn't really fit that criterion for me. Maybe some of you have ordered from them and have had great luck, and that's great. But for me, no, I don't think I'm going to be ordering from them anytime soon, just based on my first impression. But you never have a second chance to make a first impression, do you? So that's Purple KATZ Quilting in Alberta, Canada. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this very long episode this week. And if you're still with me, thank you for hanging in there. If anything, you may have gotten a little bit of a nap. But just a reminder that this week, this is a busy week too, because we have Craft and Chat. It is the first Wednesday of the month. So tomorrow, April the 6th, 2022, is the first Wednesday of the month. And that's Craft and Chat time, starting at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and running till approximately 4 p.m. So you get 3 hours of, fun time working with like-minded people on whatever project you want to work on. It can be anything under the sun. Again, if you wish to reorganize your underwear drawer, this would be the time to do it. Whatever. So that's this Wednesday, and I hope to see you there. And I have sent out the personal invitations to those of you on my Craft and Chat mailing list, but the link for it is in the show notes below. And if you'd like to be on that mailing list as well, please just drop me a line and I will add you. Okay, so that brings me to the end of this week's episode of The Idiot Quilter. As I said, I hope you were able to hang in there with me because it was a bit longer. And so coming up, So Chatty on Friday, and we're going to look at the retreat again, but from a little different point of view. We're going to be a little bit more critical about the retreat, not to be nasty, but just to give you a realistic view of what we experienced with that. So there might be a little bit of bitching in there as well. Don't know, could be. And I have another video that we're going to play in there as well, just a fun one that I made for the participants at the retreat. So yep, that's coming up this Friday. I hope you can join us. It's not a live, it'll be pre-recorded and it'll be posted later in the day on Friday. And coming up too for me, I'm going on another retreat. Yes, this weekend, the Quilter's Way, which is the paid membership group I belong to online. You've heard me talk about it many times before. Kim Jameson Hurst, the owner, operator, president, whatever you want to call her, of the Quilter's Way, is running Energize 5.0. This is her, she has this about twice a year. It's an online retreat, a lot of fun. We start Friday night off with a cocktail party, and then Saturday and Sunday, it's all day retreat, retreating, yes. Sewing, getting caught up on things, and she's going to have a few special presentations as well on there. So I'm looking forward to that as well. So, yep, lots coming up. Oh, did I mention? Later today, I'm going out to pick up my new toy. You'll have to tune in next week to find out what that is. Actually, I think I've mentioned it earlier videos, but anyways, yeah, got to give you a teaser. Okay, enough from me. Go out, do something creative, have a great week. I hope to see you on Craft and Chat if you're able, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.